good evening to all of you on this beautiful evening, and heartiest congratulations to all the graduates of this class who are graduating from this wonderful institution here. In fact, I was very inspired by our chairman's speech when he talked about success, and he rightly said that success means different things to different people, and I would like to add on top of that saying different things to different people at different times. As you step into higher education after completing your higher secondary, so this is a stage where you will have to define for yourself what success means. At this stage, I would like to point out that one general misconception or a myth or a mistake that we do is we equate success and confuse it with output. Okay? So success need not necessarily mean how much salary you make. Success need not necessarily mean what grades you get. Success need not necessarily mean where you get your next admission. Okay? So success is you have to look at success from a different perspective. In fact, this is where I would like you to equate success with goals, right? So when you talk about success with goals, so that is where it defines your path as towards achieving something which will produce the necessary outputs. Okay, so the general question that is asked, right? So when we normally probably you have already gone through some admission interviews for your next stage, and then they will say, what are your goals? What are your goals in life? Right? So yes, there are defined ways of defining goals, that I want to do this, I want to make a difference to the lives of people, I want to make a difference in fact, if you look at the way the United Nations looks at it, they have defined goals for the whole planet. They call it as the Sustainability Development Goals, SDG, right? So, which means, how do you kind of align yourself to these goals that are set outside? Okay? And then I'll talk about how you can define those goals, but then your success, you can measure your success in terms of how well you have managed to achieve those goals. And trust me, the moment you take the right approach to achieve those goals, the other things are the output that will automatically come, which we mistake it as success in today's context. Right? So, what is a very simple mantra to define what is a goal? Right? My simple, I'm a computer scientist, right? So I like abstracting things. So if I keep repeatedly abstracting things, it all boils down to defining your goals in terms of making somebody happy. Right? So if I extend to what the chairman mentioned there, so at different points in time, your goal should be to make different people happy. Right? So when you are a child, when you are at this very stage right now, your goal should be to make your parents happy, because they are the ones who have brought you up and they have their own aspirations for you, right? So you talk about that. Then we had these wonderful teachers who were on the stage, who are, it was mentioned, right? So, their success is measured by your success. So your goal, now you can set your goal as to make your teachers happy and proud. How do you extend that beyond, right? So you take it more and more. Suppose you have entered your professional life. Now you have become a big CEO of a big company. When you are a CEO of a big company, then who do you make, what should be your goal? Who should you make happy? Right? So you could be a big company having lots of customers. Right? So you must have heard of stories of customer success. So making the customers happy becomes your goal. So at a different stage, so when let me take that specific example. When you say my definition of success is measured by to what extent I make my customers happy. But then hitting that bottom line revenue and then making, generating millions of dollars of profit, that cannot be success. That is not the success. That is the output of the success that you define as saying that making customers happy is my goal. So once you have achieved that, the outputs will automatically come. So my key message here is that don't go merely of the outputs. Try to separate the output from the goals. You achieve your goals, output will come automatically. So in terms of achieving that particular goal, right? So then there may be the next question, okay? So I know now how to define my goals at different stages of my life, right? So there are people that I can think of defining goals based on who I want to make happy. Now once I have done that, now how do I achieve that? So what does it take to achieve those goals, right? So that is where your education comes into the picture, right? So the wonderful foundations that are laid at this particular stage when you walk out is what is going to prepare, which has already prepared you towards achieving those goals. But beyond this particular point, so you should have some method to enable yourself to achieve those goals. So this is where I would like to suggest that typically, I don't know how many of you have heard, right? So there is something called as the T model. Okay? So T model, what is like the letter T? It says that in order to be a well-defined, well-rounded professional, your abilities should be like a T. Which means in that T, the horizontal line on top of it is the breadth. Right? So your ability to assimilate and cut across disciplines, cut across the abilities, right? So that is essentially the top part of it. Right? So in a disparaging way, we hear a jack of all trades. Being a jack of all trades is not a bad thing. Okay? But of course, being master of none is a bad thing. So that is where the vertical line of the T comes into the picture. So that is where you drive your passion. You say that, okay, what is it that I want to be extremely good at? Right? So take your time. Right? So that is what drives that particular vertical line of the T. So once you become, which is where we hear terms like well-rounded personality. I saw lots of inspiring quotes around the campus, right? So because one of the most important elements of achieving the goals is to be a well-rounded human being. In fact, I was so impressed to see the amazing band performance right there. That is very much part of a well-rounded personality. I think big round of applause to the students. And I'm sure there are many who are out there who have that aspect of it well covered as far as the breadth is concerned. So when I'm talking about the breadth, it is not just about subjects and topics and areas and things like that. We are talking about your ability to have a well-rounded personality, complemented with something that drives your passion, and go full length deep into it. Okay? Then that automatically will tell you, right? So I told you, how do you define your goal? So you need to figure out who do you want to make happy. Right? The band certainly made me very happy, because between you and me, I also like to play my drums. Right? So in that sense, so you have definitely made me happy. So you will figure out, right? So what is it? Maybe there's somebody who's a great actor, maybe who's a great performer, who's a great speaker. So you will always find something that in life wherein every individual has got the ability to make somebody happy, somebody else happy. Set your goals based on that, and success will come, outputs will come. Okay? So on that note, I would not like to stand between you and the rest of the program and rest of the wonderful evening. So I sincerely wish all of you the very best in whatever path you choose to take. Remember the T model. All the best.